a mountain? How can you take a town? How can you take a valley? How can you move them around? You cannot take a mountain. You cannot take a town. You cannot take a valley. You cannot move them around. How can you take the history? How can you take the glory? How can you take a legend? How will you change the story? You cannot take the history. You cannot take the glory. You cannot take the legend. And you cannot change the story. How can you take bonanza and the mining claims of old? How can you take a river with its blue-green water so cold? You cannot take bonanza or the mining claims of old. You cannot take the river or its blue-green water so cold. How can you take the Klondike? How can you take her sand? How can you take the Yukon and move it to some other land? You cannot take the Klondike. You cannot take her sand. You cannot take the Yukon and move it to some other land. For the Klondike is in the Yukon. The history are legends of old. The rivers that flow through the valley carry the rich yellow gold. You cannot take the Klondike, though you may take her name. For the legends of the Klondike and the Yukon will always remain. The Klondike is in the Yukon, and the Yukon will always remain. We started out from Whitehorse, there is Jack and Kit and I, going hunting mountain goats on a mountain high. Took along some beans and tea in case of an appetite. We took along a jug of rum to keep our spirits bright. Down at the lake where the boat was moored, Jack untied the rope. He turned his back and the boat took off and down the lake did float. And Kit stood there and waved his arms and yelled at poor old Jack. He cursed and jumped into the lake and promptly brought it back. While the funniest sight you ever did see was Kit when he came to shore. Jack and I sat on the ground, we laughed and we did roar. He called us names, he swore and cursed the day that we were born. We built a fire from the driftwood logs and tried to make him warm. At last we got the supplies on board and crawled into the boat. We went on further up the lake to find our mountain goat. We found a cozy spot to camp and scan the mountainside. There up on the highest peak we saw our joy and pride. We ate some beans and drank some tea and cleaned our trusty gun. We loaded up the old pipeboard and drank a glass of rum. We climbed up on the mountain, the day was hot and still, and when we finally reached the top, we'd climbed the wrong hill. Then down the hill and back to camp, we built a fire bright. We drank the rum and ate the beans and stared into the night. We threw a log on the blaze, the flames are burning higher. Then Kit let out a mighty scream, his pants had caught on fire. Oh, what a trip and what a hot misfortune all the way. If we stay any longer here, we'd all turn old and gray. This was it, we're going home. We climbed back in the boat, and I thought I heard the echoes ring of a laughing mountain goat. I thought I heard the echoes ring of a laughing mountain goat.